Right now, pressing play on nostalgia.
I definitely wasn't ready to be famous, for sure.
Glee's Heather Morris dives into fame, dance, loss, and now living in Arizona, where her journey began. Plus, she responds to those rumors.
If there was a Glee reboot, would I do it?
And in the chat this week, Hilary Swank, she believes she is a better mom now than she would have been. Does it matter how old you are when you have babies? Then, in tonight's Not Done Yetta.
Think of that time as this really precious, pivotal moment in my life.
Don't be scared, son.
Actor and musician Josh Radner teases his visit to the Valley and dishes on How I Met Your Mother. All of that and so much more. Welcome to this Arizona's Family original with me, Yetta Gibson. All right, tonight we've got a behind-the-scenes look at stardom with one of Hollywood's biggest sitcom stars. And as you'll see, nothing prepared Heather Morris for her catapult into fame, but she's found her way back home.
Take it all the way
All the way back. We have known each other for so long, and I am sitting here and I'm tripping because you are a celebrity. And we were just regular people.
No, I'm still a regular person.
No, you're not. You are famous. Heather Morris, yeah, that Heather you saw on Dancing with the Stars, The Masked Dancer, So Help Me
Nice to
Todd,
see you.
and Glee. Remember Brittany?
Brittany, who are you talking to?
For me, she's just my friend who I've watched do some pretty amazing things since she left Arizona for Los Angeles. Talk to me about just like growing up in Arizona.
Tale as old as time. Everybody has the same kind of I went to elementary school. I grew up doing, sports, which in my case is dancing and gymnastics. I'm the youngest of three, but I also call myself an only child because my sisters were 7 and 6 years older than me. Kind of grew to want to entertain, and we put on shows for our parents. We were all dancers, we were all performers.
April, one of her sisters, spent time as a prestigious Laker girl, a Phoenix Suns dancer, and after retiring was hired on as the dance team coach for ASU. So performing clearly in Heather's DNA.
So yeah, I grew up performing and I was always on camera, and yet I was very shy.
You were?
I was very shy. So I was an introverted extrovert.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
No, I think as a young
as a kid.
young babe.
Okay.
I was very shy.
You grew out of that.
Yes. We would do all these skits, and I look back at them, I'm like, that's me.
That meant
That's-
something.
That
was something.
It was the spark of always who I was. So once I got the balls, so to speak, I moved out to LA. I was dancing at 19 and performing with Beyonce.
Back the truck up. All right, about that. Beyonce and Heather Morris. Yes, that was kind of a thing, kind of a big thing before Heather eventually became a standout on the hit Fox show, Glee. So here's how Heather's Beyonce experience happened.
Okay, so auditioning out in LA, taking tons of classes from big choreographers, trying to make a name for myself. I went to audition for a movie called Bratz, the Bratz movie. This was 2007. So I was auditioning. There was an assistant there, assistant choreographer, her name was Bethany. I'm auditioning next to this other dancer. We look exactly alike. This assistant pulls me aside, she's like, hey Heather, you look exactly like that girl you just danced next to. I don't know if you know this, but she used to dance next to Beyonce. She has since retired. We're having a private audition tomorrow, and I really want you to come because we basically need to fill this girl's shoes. And I was like,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
okay. So I show up at this studio where all these tall blonde dancers with long hair. They made us do a ballet across the floor, which when you think of Beyonce, you don't think of ballet, right? The next day I get a call and she's like, hey, we loved you. We want to invite you to come be on Beyonce's tour. We're leaving in 2 days.
Did you die?
I died.
Oh, I'm sure.
I
So now Heather is on several tours with Beyonce. She later auditioned for Fox's then new TV series, Glee, and was cast for a small role as a background dancer at first.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't ready to be famous, for sure. I was scared, I was nervous, I was super anxious. So I got this job, as you said, where I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna dance in the background and I want to make people laugh.
And then boom, you're an
quirky.
actress.
And then I was this actress and I was super famous. Like, what do you do with that? And I didn't know what to do with it.
For someone who didn't know what to do with it, she certainly did a lot, making waves in Hollywood as Brittany, the ditzy cheerleader on the show. Heather Morris was everywhere.
Dancer, actress, Maxim Hot 100, style ambassador, funniest second banana on TV. How do you rank them all?
I don't think you can. I think that would be unfair to myself. You know, like I deserve all those moments at so many separate times.
Those moments definitely highs in her Hollywood run, and her character's storyline on Glee, a hit with fans, namely the coupling of Brittany and Santana, played by Naya Rivera.
Our characters had a very big and important impact on the LGBTQIA+ community. And I don't think that many people share that relationship, and so that was really special for both of us.
The two became best friends off-screen. But in 2020, Heather hit the lowest of the lows.
So I remember hearing the news about Naya. First person I thought about was you. Can you talk about hearing that news?
It was a very hard moment. It was actually the same exact place that I was in when I heard of Corey's passing. So the feeling was just replicated, right? And it was like, how can this be happening, you know? So it didn't feel real. It felt like a dream. The first thought was like, is this a ruse for her to get the out of here and like go get like a facelift or something? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It was just,
it's
my
like,
first thought was like the funny thing. It has to be fake.
It's
a joke.
Yeah.
And then the reality sets in. We were moms at the end of the day, and we were still, you know, getting together once a month.
You said you still talk to her.
Yeah.
Tell me.
I feel like she is like constantly here, as I hope she is, but I always feel like she's with me. You know, I always see her in things I do, or just little reminders, and I think it's important, you know, like.
And they're very specific to her.
Very specific, yeah.
The grief from Naya's death took a toll, but Heather was already in a difficult space trying to cope with the challenges and demands of Hollywood.
I had never acted before Glee. I had sort of hit rock bottom at that point of like, I don't want to be famous, and at the same time I got pregnant. And it wasn't planned. We weren't like sitting there going like, let's get pregnant. You know, it just kind of happened, and it was like, okay, this is a great example of God just throwing things at you, and you just got to go with it. And you know, like having a child is so life-changing. It just takes that shift off of you onto, you know, something else. I feel like I just wasn't so concerned about all the rest of it. You know? Like, you know, you just...
No, I get it.
It all just kind of melts away.
Yeah. So this is a lot of stuff that the people, you know, the fans were watching. They were a big fan of Brittany, but they didn't know all this stuff was going on.
I think they did.
They did?
Do you know my fans? Do you know the Brittana fans?
I'm just my own Heather fan. I don't know about the others.
The Brittana fans, a whole nother story for a different day. Today, Heather has moved on from the fast life of Hollywood, figuratively and literally. She is back in Scottsdale, Arizona, with her husband and 2 kids, a much calmer place for her. Her career that started with dance, now full circle. She is now mentoring up-and-coming dancers across the nation. And with just about every show getting a reboot nowadays, you know I had to find out.
If there was a Glee reboot, would I do it?
That's a yes.
Yeah.
Why did you take so long to answer the question?
I think it'd have to be like it'd have to be right. You know, it would have to feel right. It'd have to feel
Does that mean you
authentic.
What does that mean?
Oh, I think like I think Brittany's storyline could be so fantastic. There could be so many fun ideas that go with Brittany. I know it's hard to address the Santana of it all, so hopefully that would be it would be done respectfully. But yeah, I think so.
At the end of the day, Heather is happy and very proud of the road she's traveled so far and her journey ahead.
I think I'm in a great headspace. I think I'm striving for balance and happiness and trying to start a good positive chapter with my kids. I want them to see me thriving in my professional and my personal life.
Yeah, and that's what they're seeing now.
And that's what they're seeing.
Heather is also on a passion project with Volition Beauty. She's an ambassador for the Safe Science Beauty product company, and we've heard she's got some custom products coming out soon. In the chat this week, women, couples, they're deciding to have fewer kids these days, or they're just waiting until much later. Does it matter how old you are when you have babies? Plus,
It's hard for me to envision my life without having done that show.
How I Met Your Mother actor and musician Josh Radner.
Mostly it's just an evening with me, and I'll let the mood dictate the set list.
He's opening up about his concert in the Valley this week and his new podcast about the iconic TV show. That's all coming up next on this Arizona's Family Original with me, Yetta Gibson. All right, it's time now for In the Chat, and this week we are talking babies. Check this out.
I had a woman today who's 40 years old. She had a newborn, her first baby. She was asking me questions, breastfeeding and things like that. And I go, I hate to ask you this, but are you going to have another one? Because I used to hate when people ask me that. And she goes, no. Well, this is it. Women, couples, they're deciding to have fewer kids these days, or they're just waiting until much later. Hilary Swank, she believes she is a better mom now than she would have been. She waited until she was way older than the norm. Technology is bomb right now. Does it matter how old you are when you have babies? Talk to me. All right, talk to me in the chat. Here are some of your responses. Had my first and possibly only at 41. I think I'm a much better mom than I would have been 20 years ago. My mom had me when she was 39. My dad was 43, and they were absolutely the best parents. Definitely ready.
That's cool.
Yes, to devote their time to me and parenthood back when she was little. So, meanwhile, another one of you said, I'm super glad to be having my first child now instead of later. I didn't mind having older parents growing up, but I can't imagine how much more fun it would be to have children in their 20s. So joining me this week, this is a good one. Ooh. Paul and Vanessa, my question to you is, does parenthood get better with age? It's actually beneficial to have kids later if you are able to, of course. Paul, you said that you had them a little bit later.
I was 43 when we had Jake. He's now 11. And then I was 45 when we had Samantha. Now, my wife is younger than me. She was in her 30s. But for me...
Look at him with the younger wife.
Come on. For me, I think it's a lot better because, you know, Jennifer's younger than me, but she's more mature than I am. And it took me a while to grow up.
Well, yeah, and that's how it goes. You know, men are less mature,
maturity level,
not immature, but yeah. So you think it was better to just be a little bit older?
And you know, I learned to appreciate the time with my kids. Now I'm a little worried when they graduate from high school. How many kids are going to be like, oh, who's that? Who's grandpa coming in
who's
now?
That old man?
Or you'd be like, you know what? Rounds on me, everybody. Because I am financially stable.
Well, true. That's another nice thing.
But what if you change your mind, say in 5 years, and you decided, I want a baby? Would you do?
You were barking up the wrong tree on this one.
You never know what can happen. You never know how your mind changes as you live.
If you do, not me in particular, but if
she
you
already
do,
knows.
never wanted children. But adopt. Right?
There you go.
Always
that's
adoption
true.
That's a great
out there.
idea. True.
And I will say I do not have children, but my parents were very young when they had me. I think my dad was 19, 20, mom was 23.
Oh, okay.
You've had babies. You need a cocktail sometimes, right? Dad couldn't even drink.
Oh, wow.
So Paul's saying he waited till older. You had very young parents. How was that for you?
It was interesting. I mean, because they were learning too, right? They
True.
were still
Learn
growing
They were
up.
just babies.
Exactly. So I like your concept, older. I agree with the older.
Yeah. Just in case you thought about it later. And from motherhood to friendship, sometimes these relationships can be tricky. You got to listen to this. Would you get mad if your friend changes plans to stay with you in your home a little bit longer?
Oh.
A woman on Reddit says she's going to be taking her friends to the airport, get this, 11 hours early. Thank you, bye. She says she needs to rest because that was the plan originally. She says she took Monday off so that she could rest and clean up after a couple of friends came to visit her. But again, they changed their plans to leave a little bit later and to stay with her a little bit longer. And now she says she still needs the day to herself. Her friends are upset, but they're going to the airport.
Oh, boy.
So is there a right or a
Come
wrong
on.
here?
Vanessa, what would you do here?
What friends do you have that say, I am going to stay a little bit longer?
Oh.
All of them.
I have friends that do that.
Yeah.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Well, I have a lot of pilot buddies.
Okay.
And they get to fly standby.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
And we also live in paradise,
That is-
right?
You're not wrong.
That's true.
And the great weather, and they're coming in from Cincinnati, a lot of them where it's
No
cold.
one wants to go back
and
to
no one wants to go
Cincinnati.
back. And then my poor wife has to deal with it. They were already rowdy all weekend. I go,
Yeah.
honey, they're going to stay an extra day.
So she's like, great.
Not going to work.
She's like, you and I, we're done.
Yeah.
What about you? Is there a right or wrong? Do you think
That's
the homeowner is correct?
That's a tough question
Yeah, it
because
is hard.
I think like us, we like our space, right? It is so nice to have all these people, but I need some downtime. I need
True.
to decompress. And even when they are doing their own thing, I'm doing my own
Yeah.
thing. They're still in the house.
They're still in your house.
Right.
They're in your space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where you want complete silence.
I wouldn't take my friends to the airport 11 hours early.
I would not.
I
do
would
that.
deal
What if
with
you just
it.
drop them off at the resort for a little
I
while?
wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Call your friends at a local resort, let them have some pool time.
Here's a split right down the middle, right?
Okay.
If I had things to do, even if it was just being in bed all day, that's what I'm doing while they're there.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
You know what that's called? Boundaries. And that
There
is
you go.
healthy.
That's exactly what it's
Here,
called.
you just stay in the basement, and I'm just going to sleep the rest of the day off,
I
all
wish I
right?
would have put that question up. I would have loved to have heard
Oh.
the comments because
Next round.
Because you got to give people a pass because Arizona's Arizona. If they're here in January through March, I mean, do you blame them?
Okay, if they stay over a week, then there's a real big problem.
Yeah,
There we
yeah.
go.
Then it becomes a conversation about how much longer. Is it just a day or whatever?
Yeah,
Thank
too long.
you so much, guys.
Always
Good
a pleasure.
conversation.
Volume 2 is a little more of a stripped down bootleg acoustic album. Really, it's just an evening with me.
Actor Josh Radner is taking the stage right here in the Valley. Coming up, he dishes on his brand new tour, music, and podcast about how I met your mother. That's coming up. Yeah.
It gets dark now, an hour early. Light my way home, Lord, that's my only prayer. And I am learning.
Well, you probably recognize that face, but you probably had no idea that actor Josh Radner does music. You may know him from a few other places too. One of those being a little sitcom by the name of How I Met Your Mother. And now he is hitting the road as a musician. So in tonight's Not Done Yetta, we catch up with him ahead of his stop here in Phoenix. From your television screen to the music stage, Josh Radner can pretty much do it all. The sitcom actor is on his new tour, a slew of shows inspired by his new album.
Volume 2 is a little more of a stripped down bootleg acoustic album. There's going to be songs from Eulogy 1, 2, a couple of tracks that I just recorded from my new record. So it's really, I'm just going to kind of decide on the set list as we go. People are welcome to, in the kindest way possible, shout out requests if they have them, and if I can do them, I'll do them. But mostly, it's just an evening with me.
Don't be lonely. Mother told me choosing lonely is the worst thing you can do.
Josh wrote the double album while going through a breakup. And that's when some collaborators invited him to Nashville. And the story that follows, well, that's what Josh now calls the lore around the album.
She was at my house still, and I was kind of fleeing LA. I had to kind of get out of town. And I was in Columbus, Ohio, kind of nursing my wounds a little bit. My parents were away, so I was in my childhood home. And then Corey and Jeremiah and Kyle said, come to Nashville, let's make some music. And it was the first time I started to feel like myself again. And then 2 weeks into the run, I went to upstate New York to see a friend and meet some people, and I met my wife. It was around this time that I felt like all this transformation was going on creatively, that I also met my wife. So I think of that time as this really precious, pivotal moment in my life.
And speaking of love stories, one of the things Josh is most well known for is playing Ted Mosby on How I Met Your Mother. His show surrounded his character telling his love story to his kids. He spent 9 years on that show.
It's hard for me to envision my life without having done that show. I wrestled with the long shadow of it, and as an actor wanting to play roles that felt very far from that. And then I don't know, I found a lot of like strange healing just doing the show. My wife has never seen How I Met Your Mother, so we're rewatching it.
Rewatching it, and the fans are loving it. Part of that rewatch is a podcast called How We Made Your Mother. In it, Josh and the show's co-creator, Craig Thomas, highlight different episodes throughout the series.
The show just generates a kind of warmth that people really love, and people keep coming back to, and new generations keep discovering it. So even though I think there were some missteps made, they did a lot right, and there's a reason people are still watching it and talking about it.
But as for where his heart lies, he says there are so many different projects.
I think here in Brooklyn with my dog and my wife, I feel the best. I don't know, I think what I'm working on, I just finished recording a new album, and my whole heart was in that. I'm about to turn my attention to another project. It's fun to tell stories and have different ways to tell stories. Sometimes I think, well, this is just a 4-minute story that I have to tell, and I'm going to tell it as a song. And other stories are a 90-minute movie, and other stories you need 9 years to tell them. I love all these things in different ways, but I'd say I love them somewhat equally.
Pretty cool. Tickets for Josh's tour stop at the MIM, the Musical Instrument Museum, are still available. The show starts at 7 o'clock on May 3rd. Thank you so much for joining us for this Arizona's Family Original. You can connect with me on Instagram. There you can weigh in on the chat segment, and you're going to find exclusive behind-the-scenes content from your favorite interviews. We will see you again real soon.
I'm not scared
Obviously, don't be scared of me. I promise I won't give you those weird eyes.
of you. You're gonna get killed or something? Are you gonna kill
Girl, I
somebody?
can tell you that.
Are you gonna kill somebody?
No, I don't know.
You're gonna kill somebody. You look evil right now. Oh God! You're still got the acting chops. You just scared me. You can't tell
I love
me.
that staring
Okay,
contest
so
we
if
just had.
that was good. Do it again. Oh God. Okay, don't do it anymore. It's really scary.
I'm sweating.